Hi guys, what's up, what's down, what's sideways? James here for day 80 of chronic fatigue syndrome. My friend, my enemy, my constant companion. How's it going? Sorry for the extra mess behind me today. I have been cleaning up. Yay! Cleaning. Today I thought I'd talk about the madness that is chronic fatigue syndrome. And, oh, hang on, it looks like it's gonna go any moment. Anyway, so I thought I'd talk about the madness that is chronic fatigue syndrome. And I don't mean, the madness of like, oh, I've got an incurable whatever it is, or, oh, there's no cure, or, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that kind of madness. The madness of having a chronic illness, and sometimes when it normalizes in your mind how you feel, and you start asking yourself, is there even anything wrong with me? So if you don't have chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, you might not know that it's like we will go through a range of experiences and feelings and stuff like that, and they sound like symptoms of like the worst possible things that can happen. So I made a video on that earlier. But the other thing is, we can have all these pains and these aches and rah-rah, and we can go get all your blood tests and we can go get checkups and MRIs and CT scans and blah 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 blah. I'm just trying to remember names of tests, and they come back okay. Now sometimes there might be something in our blood work that's a little off, but like when a doctor looks at it, it's not. It's just a little off, like a normal person's a little off. Not, oh my goodness, this is the reason why you are experiencing these set of symptoms. We have found it. So we don't get that. So the usual thing is like, I've got like a whole new range of feelings. I'll go to the doctor, have a battery of tests. There's nothing wrong with you. It's like, lovely. Okay, and then so that can also then put you off from going and asking your doctor, like, hey, there's this. Is this anything new? Which can be a bit dangerous because, one day it might be something that needs attention, that needs medical attention, that is, like, you've got... I'm trying to think of one that's not too awful. You've got appendicitis. And funnily enough, appendicitis pain you can actually feel appendicitis pain. Appendicitis pain kind of feels like one of the things that you can feel with CFS. However, there is a very distinct difference. There's also a little trick you can do to tell whether or not it's likely to be your appendix over chronic fatigue syndrome. And I'm just thankful that my mum's a nurse and she knew the trick. That was not a fun night. I was like, yeah, it was not a fun night. Anyway, so there are times when like you do need to go to the hospital. You need to go, because otherwise your appendix in 6 hours, like it's going to go from nothing to 6 hours where they're going to explode on you and you die. So sometimes going to the hospital is a really good thing. And other times I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't stop vomiting. The pain is awful and I'm dying. And I go to the hospital and I'm like, yeah, you're fine. Can you stop vomiting long enough for us to get some sort of painkillers into you? Yeah, you're fine. Blood work comes back, you're fine. You're fine. Like, I don't feel fine. I am not good. Not good. So, yes. So, and this can create this maddening situation. And then when it normalizes, so I just came back from a walk. I'm tired. I hurt in places. I'm tired. That's so funny. Anyway, but there were periods of the walk where it was just normal. And I was thinking on it like, okay, so what am I even feeling right? Like, because until I asked myself, like, what am I actually feeling right now? Because it's just normal. Like, my normal background is pain, tiredness, ache, when I say tiredness, I mean the fatigue. A little bit of sleepy, which is nice because I don't usually feel sleepy. By the way, you can be fatigued and tired without feeling sleepy. Even a normal person can. And so like it normalizes kind of like, what is it that I have right now? Why can I not go to a doctor and go like, hey, can you run some tests again and try and re-diagnose me? And like maybe I don't have chronic fatigue syndrome. Maybe I've got irritable phalange syndrome. You know, something that is curable, as opposed to, no, there's nothing wrong with you. But in saying that there's nothing wrong with you, because we don't know what's wrong with you, but we can observably see that there's something wrong with you, but medically we can't put our finger on it, we're going to call it chronic fatigue syndrome. And then I'm going to poke you in these places. And then based on your response, I'm going to say, yeah, you've also got fibromyalgia syndrome. You know, and like that's the experience of getting diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. That's pretty simplified, but it's really close. What was it? Glandular fever. That's right. So if you get glandular fever, which shows up in your blood work and all that kind of stuff, and it never goes away, then that's when they go like, oh, it's chronic fatigue syndrome. Like starts off as glandular fever and turns into chronic fatigue syndrome. You know, if it doesn't go away after 6 weeks or 6 months, I'm really bad with time sometimes. So it creates this kind of madness where like, I can't do stuff, but you can't tell me why I can't do stuff. And then, because sometimes it normalizes, so you get so used to the background noise that is your body, you almost don't register that there's anything wrong with you. You feel normal. And so, if you feel normal, is there anything wrong with you in the first place? And that's a really maddening thought. Because normal, just because it's got to the point where it's normalized and it feels normal, doesn't mean what you're feeling is what you should be feeling. And by that I mean like, so a normal person's normal is ABC. That is their normal. My normal is XYZ. If my XYZ is not a normal person's normal. But an XYZ is normal for me, and therefore, if it gets to the point where I know nothing but XYZ, and I start to not be able to distinguish between that there is anything other than XYZ, then it starts getting a little bit maddening, because is there anything wrong with me? And like, the obvious answer is yes, because you're at XYZ, you're at the other end of the alphabet. What are you doing up there? You know, ABC, down the other end's where we want to be at. So, and then that starts playing on you, and then you start feeling like, am I a charlatan? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I a charlatan? Am I putting this on? Am I secretly well? And that is a really dangerous rabbit hole. And sometimes people kind of egg us there, like they'll push us there because, you know, like they don't see anything. It's an invisible illness, like I pointed out, except like we may appear a bit tired. You know, it's invisible in that aspect. But it is very real. And so you have those moments where it's like, am I crazy? And then you have to like step back and hope the little logic fairy is you know, on ball that night, because it's like, yeah, hang on a tick, let's just look at this, you know, let's look at this from the up here point of view of the logic fairy and go like, okay, let's run through this. You're experiencing this. Okay, you are, aren't you? Yes. You're not making it up. No. You don't want to be sick, do you? No, I don't. So you do have it. Calm thyself, you know, and it's just, Also, there was something there I was going to mention. I was like, oh, that'd be brilliant. And I've lost it. Try it. Will it come back to me? I'm going to watch this video again. I'm like, Anyway, I'll come back to another time. So it can be maddening, and just if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, then it's natural, normal, okay to experience these types of occurrences where you're like, am I mad? You just gotta go gentle on yourself, go easy, and don't fall into that trap, because it's just another layer to what you're already feeling. You don't need it. It's just it is maddening, guys. It's a maddening thought. Like, you feel mad, and I'm not talking like angry. I'm like, you feel crazy. It's weird. It's hard to describe. I'd have to give it. I'd have to write it down and try and word it. But it's maddening. But in the sense of, you feel like your mind is being toyed with, and others toy with it as well, and you have to know what you know and stick to it. Be open to change always. Be open to new information, but what you know is what you know. Okay, so if you ever feel like that maddening point where like, am I crazy? Just, you're not. And if you are, then you are. But the good news is, at least you don't have chronic fatigue syndrome, and you'll be able to work your way out of it. But for most of the people watching this, if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, you've got chronic fatigue syndrome. You're not crazy, you've got chronic fatigue syndrome. So go easy on yourself. So thank you very much for letting me share with you day 80. Crikey, day 80 already. If you'd like to introduce yourself, ask any questions, or share any feedback, comments, stuff like that, comment below. I will get back to you. Like, share, subscribe, hit the little notification button, and thank you very much for letting me share with you day 80. Am I mad?